Have you ever been in a situation where you were literally praying for your life? Well, David in Psalm 27 is praying for his life. We are not sure of the exact historical situation. Charles Spurgeon guesses it have been when David was on the run from King Saul, pursued by enemies, shut out from the house of the Lord, separated from his parents, slandered by false witnesses. It all seems to fit. No matter what the situation, it was clearly a time of incredible crisis and stress, and David finds himself praying for his life. Where do you go when life hits you with a crisis? Where do you turn when the going gets tough? Do you go to God? Do you pray in the situations? But more importantly, how do you pray during a crisis? David models for us how to pray in this psalm that is before us today, Psalm 27. We find a prayer of absolute trust and confidence in the midst of trial. So let's look at the psalm together and see what we can learn from David about praying for your life. Verse 1, David begins by saying, "The Lord is my light and my salvation." He claims God as his own. Notice his personal relationship with God. My light, my salvation. Is the Lord your light, your salvation? Light is that which dispels darkness. In the Bible, light can stand for life, God's blessing, or God's favor. The word for salvation here is Yeshua, the Hebrew name for Jesus. It is a word that speaks of God's ability to save and deliver from harm. David says, "The Lord is my light and salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is a stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" When God is the strength of life, when the Lord Almighty is your stronghold, you also are in a strong place of protection. If God is for us, who can be against us? David wasn't afraid because God was that strong place of protection for him. So, who or what is the strength of your life? What supports you, upholds you, sustains you through the daily struggles of life? Where do you look for your strength? David's first secret to praying in crisis was that God was very personal to him. He was David's light and salvation and a stronghold of his life. In times of crisis, remember that the Lord is your strength. Another reason David had confidence in prayer was the inevitable outcome of his enemies. Look at verse 2. "When evil men advance against me to devour my flesh, when my enemies and my foes attack me, they will stumble and fall." David describes his enemies in graphical terms. They are evil men, they advance against him, they are ready to devour his flesh. He pictures them as wild animals with no compassion or mercy. But when they attack him, David says, they will stumble and fall. It's one thing if your enemy stumbles and then keeps coming right at you. But David says, they will stumble and fall. They will not succeed in their efforts against him. When ungodly men oppose you, take heart. It means that you are probably doing something right. So, like David, confess, "The Lord is my light and my salvation." Be blessed.